Hello learners, now we can learn double entry system. In this lesson, we can study the meaning of double entry system, classification of accounts in different categories. We can know the rules of debit and credit. We can identify the source documents and we can understand different types of vouchers. We have studied that transactions are recorded systematically. What is that system? That system which is accepted universally can be called as the double entry system. And it is a system of recording transactions having two fundamental aspects in the same set of books. One is the receiving benefit and another is the giving benefit. What are the advantages of double entry system? It helps to prepare trading and profit and loss account. It helps to find out the gross profit and net profit. And it also helps to prepare balance sheet. And it gives the most reliable information of business in a scientific way. It prevents frauds and helps for the comparison of different items. Advantages of double entry system includes preparation of trading and profit and loss account, finding out the gross profit and net profit. It provides reliable information and it helps to prepare the trial balance and it helps for comparison of various items and it helps in preparing the balance sheet. Double entry system is very costly and in this system too many books are to be maintained. Even if we are recording in a systematic manner, there is no guarantee for accuracy of the result. In this system, we have to maintain different accounts. What is an account? An account is a record of financial inflows and outflows in relation to the respective asset or liability or capital, income or expense. It is a record of all business transactions relating to a particular personal item. In accounting, we keep a separate record of each individual asset, liabilities, expense or income. The place where such a record is maintained is an account. We have traditional system of accounting and modern system of accounting. Under traditional classification, accounts are divided into three: real account, personal account and nominal account. Real account deals with assets or properties. Here I have given building account, furniture account. Under real account, I have given building account and furniture account. Personal account deals with persons. So I have given the name of two persons, Ramesh and Mahesh. Nominal account deals with expenses or incomes. Wages and salary being an expense is included here. Personal account. Accounts in the name of individuals or group of individuals are known as personal account. Example, Ramesh, Mahesh, Messrs MK Computers, etc. Here there is a rule: debit the receiver and credit the giver. In the case of personal account, you have to follow this rule. That is, debit the receiver and credit the giver. Nominal account. Accounts of expenses or incomes are recorded in the nominal account. Wages paid, commission received, etc. Wages paid being an expense, commission received being an income is included in that nominal account. What is the rule for nominal account? Debit expenses and losses, credit gains and income. That is the rule for nominal account. Next comes the real account. Accounts of assets are called real account. Building account, furniture account, etc. can be included under real account. Rule for real account. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Under modern classification, accounts are divided as asset account, capital account, income account, liabilities account, expenses account. Income means immediate inflow within an accounting year. Expenses means immediate outflow within an accounting year. Capital, amount invested by the owner inside the business. Asset, things having certain value can be called as asset. Liabilities, obligations of the business can be considered as the liabilities. All accounts are in the T form. The T format has a left side and a right side for recording increases and decreases in the item of every transaction. Here T form will have an account title as well as there will be a date column, particulars column, journal folio column and amount column on the left side and on the right side. Modern classification of accounts include asset, liabilities, capital, expenses and revenues. Rule of asset. Increase in asset is debited and decrease in asset is credited. That is the new rule or modern rule. Capital, rule for recording the capital. Increase in capital is credited and decrease in capital is debited. Revenue. Increase in revenue is credited and decrease in revenue is debited. By looking into the graph, you can identify it clearly. Increase in liabilities is credited and decrease in liabilities is debited. This is the rule for liability. Rule for expense. Increase in expenses is debited and decrease in expenses is credited. Now we can move to different transactions. Purchased furniture for rupees 80,000. Which are the two aspects you have to identify? Furniture is coming inside the business. It is an asset. So you have to consider that as one account, furniture account. And what is going when furniture is purchased? Cash is going. So two affected accounts are cash account and furniture account. Cash is decreasing in this transaction. Cash can be included under asset. What is the rule for asset? Asset if decreases is credited. So cash account is credited. Furniture is also an asset. Here in this transaction, furniture as an asset is increasing. So it is debited. If you are recording this transaction, it will be in this form. Furniture is debited with rupees 80,000 and cash is credited with rupees 80,000. Furniture account debit to cash. Another transaction, purchased machinery for rupees 60,000 on credit from MB Machinery Mart. This is a credit transaction because they have mentioned the name of the party and they have given in the transaction that it is purchased on credit. So the affected accounts are machinery and MB Machinery Mart. Machinery being an asset is coming inside the business. So asset is increasing. Rule for asset account, when asset is increasing, it is debited. So machinery account is debited. Machinery is purchased from whom? It is purchased from MB Machinery Mart. So that is the creditor. When the liability increases, it is credited. That is the rule for liability. So MB Machinery Mart is credited. When you are writing in the form of accounts, you can write in this way, that is machinery account is debited and MB Machinery Mart is credited. Amount rupees 60,000. Another transaction, cash of rupees 50,000 introduced in business as capital by Suman Sharma. Here, capital is introduced by the owner. So, which are the two affected accounts? Cash is an account and capital is an account. Cash is increased in the business. Cash can be included under asset account. When asset increases, it is debited. So, cash is increasing in the business. So, cash account is debited. Capital being a liability, If it is increasing, it is credited. Here, capital is increasing. So, capital is credited. If you are writing this transaction, then you can write as cash account is debited with rupees 50,000 and capital is credited with rupees 50,000. Another transaction, paid rupees 6,000 to the employee as salary. Here you have to consider this is an expense. So, which is that expense? Salary is an expense. So, that is an account that is affecting this transaction. Paid salary means what is going from the business? Cash is going from the business. Cash can be included under asset. When asset is decreasing, that asset account is credited. So, cash is credited. Salary being an expense is increasing. So, if expense increases, it will be debited. So, two affected accounts in this transaction are salary account and cash account. Salary is debited with rupees 6,000 and cash is credited with rupees 6,000. Another transaction, received interest for the month rupees 4,000. Two affected accounts are interest and cash. Interest is an item of income and cash is an item of asset. As per rule, if revenue increases, it will be credited. So, interest is credited. If asset is increases, it will be debited. So, cash is debited. So, cash received interest for the month rupees 4,000. Cash account is debited with rupees 4,000. Interest account is credited with rupees 4,000. Now, we can move to source documents. A document showing that an accounting event took place can be called as source document. These are also called as business documents. Example, invoices, material requisition forms, bank statements, cash memos, receipts, etc. are source documents. Source documents are the primary evidence in support of the concerned business transactions and they are known as vouchers. Vouchers can be divided into two categories, supporting vouchers and accounting vouchers. The vouchers which support the business transactions are called supporting vouchers. Examples are rent receipt, cash, memo, invoice, etc. Accounting vouchers are written documents containing the analysis of business transactions for accounting purpose and for recording purpose. Accounting vouchers are prepared by the accountants on the basis of the supporting vouchers. Accounting vouchers are signed by another authorized person. Features of accounting vouchers. It is a written document based on the entries in the books of accounts and it is prepared on the basis of evidence of the transactions. Accounting vouchers contain analyzed information of a transaction so that the concerned accounts could be debited and credited. It is prepared by the accountant and countersigned by the authorized signatory. Here we have different types of accounting vouchers. Mainly we can classify accounting vouchers as cash voucher and non-cash voucher. Cash voucher includes debit voucher and credit voucher. Non-cash voucher can be called as transfer voucher. Debit vouchers are prepared for recording transactions involving cash payments only. Which are the cash payments? Payment to creditors, purchase of goods, purchase of assets, repayment of loans, depositing cash into bank, drawings and advances, expenses, etc. are cash payments. Here is a format of debit voucher. In debit voucher, we have to write the name of the organization, voucher number, date, name of the account to be debited or title of the account to be debited, amount. The person who is preparing the voucher should put his signature in the debit voucher. Signature of the authorized person is also needed in this voucher. Here is a question for preparing debit voucher. Following transactions took place in Messrs. Tarun Retailers. Prepare debit voucher. In 2014 January 1st, they bought materials for cash, void cash memo number 20, amount is 17,200. On January 5, 2014, they paid wages for the month of December 2013, void wage sheet number 35, rupees 5,000. How we can prepare the debit voucher for these two transactions? You have to write the name of the organization first, that is Messrs. Tarun Retailers. Then voucher number. Then date of the transaction. Write the title of the account to be debited. Purchased material, that is a transaction. So, purchases account is debited. So, debit purchases account. And then you have to write the amount in the amount column. Person who is preparing this debit voucher should sign. Next transaction, wages paid. Here also name of the organization is written in the debit voucher, voucher number, date, and the title of the account to be debited here is wages account. So, we have written here debit wages account. With a detailed description of that transaction, narration is also written here. Amount is written in the amount column. Person who is preparing this debit voucher has signed here, that is manager. It is countersigned by the accountant. Next is credit voucher. These vouchers are prepared for recording transactions involving cash receipts. In which cases cash receipts can be considered? Cash sale of goods, cash receipts from debtors, cash sale of assets, cash withdrawn from bank for office use, etc. In these cases, you can consider it as a cash receipt. Here is a question for preparing credit voucher. Prepare credit voucher from the source vouchers of Messrs. MK Computers, Paschim Vihar, Delhi. Full address is given. Based on the following transactions of 2014. May 5th, sold hard disk for cash. Void cash memo number 10. Amount rupees 72,000. May 16th, sold old computer monitor for cash. Void cash memo number 34. Amount rupees 13,000. How we can prepare credit voucher? Name of the organization is MK Computers, Paschim Vihar, Delhi. We have written the voucher number and the date. Then write the title of the account to be credited. So, we have written here credit sales account. They have sold hard disks. So, it is a sales. So, I have written here credit sales account. Then a brief narration of the transaction. Explanation of the transaction being the amount of cash sales, void cash memo number 10. Amount is written in the amount column. It is signed by the person who is preparing the document. It is countersigned by the accountant. Another transaction which occurred on 16th May, old computer monitors were sold. So, here also if you want to prepare a credit voucher means you have to write the name of the organization. Then voucher number 2, date. After that, write the title of the account to be credited. Here I have written credit old computer monitors account. Then description of the transaction being old computer monitors sold for cash, void cash memo number 10. Amount is 13,000. It is signed by the person who had made this credit voucher, that is the manager. It is countersigned by the accountant. Next is the non-cash voucher. It refers to the vouchers prepared for transactions not involving cash. It is also called as transfer vouchers. It records non-cash transactions of the business. Which are the non-cash transactions? If there is a credit sales, you can have non-cash transaction. Credit purchases, depreciation of asset, return of goods purchased on credit, bad debt, etc. These are the non-cash transactions. Here is a format of transfer voucher. Here also name of the organization, voucher number, date, title of the account to be debited and title of the account to be credited is written here, and amount in the respective columns. Signed by the person who is making the voucher and countersigned by the authorized person. Here is a question to prepare transfer voucher of Sunny Garments, Kanpur, from the source vouchers based on the following transactions which occurred in 2014. First transaction on January 3rd, purchase goods from Messrs. Jim and Johnny, white bill number 20, amount is rupees 47,000. Another transaction on January 8th, sold goods to Messrs. Sitaram, white bill number 4171, rupees 13,980. You have to write the name of the organization, Sunny Garments, Kanpur, then voucher number, then date. Write the title of the account to be debited first and then the title of the account to be credited. Transaction was this: purchase goods from Jim and Johnny. So, purchases account is debited and Messrs. Jim and Johnny account is credited. After this, a detailed description of the transaction is written in the form of narration, then amount 47,000 in the respective columns. It is prepared by the manager, so signed by him and countersigned by the accountant. Next transaction was sold goods to Sitaram. It is a credit transaction. Messrs. Sitaram account is debited and sales account is credited. Name of the organization is written first, then voucher number, date. Then amounts are written in the respective column. Signed by the manager who had made this document and countersigned by the accountant. Here also description of the transaction is written, which can be called as the narration of the transaction. In this lesson, we have studied the meaning of double entry system. Now you are able to classify accounts in different categories and you have understood the rules of debit and credit, and you can identify various source documents, and I hope you understood different types of vouchers also. Thank you.
घर बैठे पाएं राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान यानी NIOS में एडमिशन, वो भी एकदम आसान तरीके से, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को होगी समय और धन दोनों की बचत। NIOS से शिक्षा कभी भी कहीं भी। शिक्षार्थियों, क्या आप जानते हैं NIOS में एडमिशन लेने का सरल और सुगम तरीका, जिससे शिक्षार्थियों को ऑनलाइन प्रवेश लेने में सहूलियत मिलती है। NIOS में प्रवेश की प्रक्रिया पूर्णतया ऑनलाइन है। शिक्षार्थी घर बैठे इंटरनेट द्वारा प्रवेश के लिए सबसे पहले NIOS की वेबसाइट www.nios.ac.in पर लॉगिन करें। अपना ईमेल आईडी और पासवर्ड डालकर अपना पंजीकरण करें। पंजीकरण के बाद लॉगिन करने पर ऑनलाइन प्रवेश हेतु आवेदन पत्र खुलेगा। आवेदन पत्र को निर्देशानुसार भरें और प्रिंट आउट लें। इस प्रिंट आउट पर अपनी फोटो संलग्न करें। ऑनलाइन प्रवेश के लिए शुल्क हेतु भुगतान के तरीके हैं। क्रेडिट कार्ड के द्वारा, डेबिट कार्ड के द्वारा, राष्ट्रीयकृत बैंक के ड्राफ्ट के माध्यम से, जो कि सचिव NIOS नई दिल्ली या नोएडा के पक्ष में देय हो। भरे हुए आवेदन पत्र के साथ साथ डिमांड ड्राफ्ट और संलग्न किए जाने वाले दस्तावेज हैं जन्म रजिस्ट्रार के जिला कार्यालय से जारी जन्म प्रमाण पत्र की सत्यापित प्रति, जिसमें जन्म तिथि अंकित हो, पिछले विद्यालय से प्राप्त विद्यालय छोड़ने का प्रमाण पत्र जिसमें आवेदक की जन्म तिथि लिखी हो। प्रवेश फॉर्म का प्रिंट आउट NIOS के संबद्ध क्षेत्रीय केंद्रों पर 10 दिनों में पहुंच जाना चाहिए, अन्यथा उचित दस्तावेज ना लगे होने पर आवेदन फॉर्म रद्द किया जा सकता है। प्रवेश प्रक्रिया की पुष्टि होने के बाद शिक्षार्थियों को परिचय पत्र व अध्ययन सामग्री डाक द्वारा तुरंत पहुंचाई जाती है। ऑनलाइन प्रवेश एक बहुत ही सुगम और सुविधाजनक प्रवेश प्रणाली है। ऑनलाइन ऑन टाइम फॉर सेफ एंड सिक्योर एडमिशन।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े,